The two ordinary hosts of this podcast are not professionals on parapsychology, extraterrestrials, cryptozoology, nor would they describe themselves as religious or prone to superstition. They'd also like to make it known that this show is not intended for children or those with sensitive sensibilities. Please listen at your own discretion. And remember, the truth is often anecdotal.
Something goes bump in the night. You wake to realize your room is now freezing. Your bedroom door slowly begins to open with a long and whiny creak, only for it to bang slam shut. Lightning strikes to reveal your name written on the wall. No, all the walls. Is it red paint? Fingernail polish? No, it's blood! You reach out to click the pull chain on your bedside table lamp, but it's thrown across the room and shatters to the floor. You pull the blankets over your head only to find that something is under them with you. You stare face to face with what you only know to be your recently deceased grandfather. He opens his mouth and an army of insects crawl out. You scream as you fall backwards out of bed. All is gone. Back to normal. As if it never happened at all. For many, these things have an eerie yet simple explanation. The very subject of today's episode. Ghosts. Dictionary.com defines ghosts as the soul of a dead person, a disembodied spirit, imagined usually as a vague, shadowy, or evanescent form, as wandering among or haunting living persons. Mr. X, have you ever been a ghost?
A ghost? As in the band Ghost?
No.
Just like Mariana. Okay.
Yeah. No. Unfortunately, Tobias Forge would have kicked you out long ago, as he does with the rest of his bandmates. No, originally I had written, now ask X if he's ever seen a ghost, but there was a typo and I wrote been instead of seen, and I thought that was way funnier, so.
Who knows? Maybe we're all ghosts right now. And
it's like, what was that movie? The Others? The Other Side? I think it was just called The Others, but it turns out like the living people were ghosts to the ghosts world or whatever.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't think I've ever seen it either. I think I just know about it.
I was just thinking of the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes. And the other lady that was in it.
Yes. I know I've seen that movie. I know I've seen Ghost. I don't remember it at all because I was so young, and it was like a romance movie. Right. It was also kind of an action movie. It was just a very weird genre of romance, action, comedy, ghost horror thing with Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg, and I was just like, it's, I was like 8 maybe when I first saw it. I was like, this isn't for me.
Oh no, it clearly wasn't written for you or me, really. Hey, that as a genre I think should come back. Scary romance?
I mean, Shaun of the Dead's back in theaters for its 20th anniversary. It's considered a horror rom-com.
It's considered a rom-com?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I guess there's a little bit of... Anyway, okay, today's episode is about ghosts.
Ghosts, yes.
We have some stories here we've collected from across the internet, and we're going to tell them to you today. I do have a special segment I do want to go over toward the end of the episode, just to kind of give it a test. So, who goes first this time?
I think I'll go first this time, but I'm going to start with a little bit of a preamble.
Ooh, okay.
So, ghosts, of all paranormal subjects, I think ghosts are probably the one that I believe in the least, only because of the overwhelming proof, I guess. I don't know. Just the thought that so many people lived and died that you would think there would be far more ghosts and sightings would be far more common. I mean, maybe there are way more ghosts than we know of, and they just hang out around us all the time. They can't interact or anything. I'm far more inclined to believe that than anything else. But, you and I used to work with a guy who claimed to be a ghost photographer named Michael Graves. I don't know how much you remember him, Roger, but he...
I'm not over this. Hold on a second. So I'm sure you're going to talk about him, so I'll let you go. But
yeah, so he claimed to be a ghost photographer, And he showed me plenty of his photos, and I never truly found any proof in them. They just seem like kind of overzealous use of flash and dust particles. But he truly believed in what he saw. I've worked in plenty of very old buildings, been in the deepest, darkest corners of all of them, and never experienced anything that you can consider otherworldly. I currently work in a very old building, but all the old men I work with, they say they refuse to be in the building alone, which no one is ever in the building alone. I think they think it might be haunted or something. Never experienced anything. I heard a toilet flush once, but
so spooky.
Yeah. No, I think the biggest mystery I've ever come across in that building, I was listening to a podcast or something and my headphone died, and I caught a glimpse of what song was playing over the speaker system, and it was that that song's like, oh man, how's it go? I'm good and I'm feeling all right, yada 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 yada. And
okay, yeah.
And I was like, have I heard this song before? I was like, no, hold on, this has to be, if not a cover, at least inspired by that other song, right? And
by
I was
Eiffel 65's
yeah,
I'm Blue.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of the lyrics of that song. I was like, wait, has this always been the lyrics of this song? Am I going crazy? I mean, certainly I was in kindergarten when that song came out and was a big hit. And, I mean, I could have had just dumb kid brain and thought of the lyrics wrong. So I had to look it up. But no, it is. The lyrics are what I thought they were. And to me, a bigger mystery than Ghost is how a song with the lyrics Dabba Diba Da Die ever became a chart-topping hit in the late 90s. But I digress. Ghost. Neither of the stories that I have are as unhinged or unsettling as whatever the hell you decided to read for your intro.
Oh, sorry.
But I'll
set the bar a little high.
So my first story is simply entitled Saw Ghost. The poster has since deleted their account on Reddit, but this was posted in the Ghost Are Real subreddit. Saw a ghost today. My coworker and I saw a ghost today. We were trying to get in the elevator to leave work in the parking garage. The guy walked onto the elevator and we followed behind to get on with him, but he wasn't even on the elevator. We got off and a lady behind us said, "Forget this, I'm going to take the stairs." The light was on for the floor and stuck, and the elevator wasn't moving. As soon as we heard the lady, we got off real fast to follow her upstairs. She saw someone get on as well and was weirded out when there was no one on. The weirdest part is, when my friend and I talked about what we saw, which was only one person getting on the elevator, we saw different people. I saw a tall white man in light blue clothes with light all around him. She saw an Asian man in dark blue clothes. This is the first time I saw someone covered in light instead of shadow people, see-through and hazy, or even lights floating. Okay, so that's the end of the story. There are only 2 comments on it. One simply says, "Freaky, where is this haunted building?" And then the other one says, "You didn't find it odd that a man surrounded by light was getting on the elevator with you?"
Right.
What I find odd is the structure of this story. When I first read it, I thought the woman was a ghost. I thought they heard a voice and got freaked out and hopped off the elevator, right? But no, it was just a woman that also got on with them that he didn't mention ahead of time.
No.
So
I do want to commend you because I did read this story.
Yeah.
In my search for stories, and I chose not to read it because of how impossible it was to read. Like, it is, the way it's written is not great.
Yeah, I have to imagine if English isn't this person's first language, they're just not, a novelist. But it came across just fine by the end of it. But yeah, it was hard to get through. So a guy bathed in light. Wait, hold on. So did he and his friend see the same guy get on? Because he said he and the woman saw different people. But let me find that sentence one more time. The weirdest part is when my friend and I talked about what we saw, which was only one person getting on the elevator, we saw different people. So he is saying that he and his friend saw different people, but he's not telling us what his friend saw.
So there are 4 characters in this one-act play.
5, technically.
5. So there's the protagonist, the storyteller.
Yeah.
The friend of the protagonist.
Yes.
The woman who's like, not today,
Yeah.
And the ghost. Oh wait, I guess the ghost was perceived as two different things.
Yeah.
So when we cast, we have to make sure to cast at least one Asian.
Or just Jim from The Office.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm watching through The Office right now for the first time.
Have you gotten to that part?
I haven't,
no,
actually.
So what would you think that this is?
So my first thing is, like, it was so casual to say we saw someone get on the elevator, but when we got there, it was empty. It's a whole other story to say I saw a guy glowing, partially see-through, step onto an elevator, and I thought, what the heck? I need to go downstairs.
So the way they describe it, they also say this person was getting on the elevator at the same exact time as them. That's another thing, right? It sounds like they say, like, we're heading towards the elevator, we see a guy get on, we follow him on, we're like, hey, hold the door, and we get on, there's nobody there. But then later in this tiny paragraph that so much happens in, he describes it as if they were hopping on at the same exact time. And I'm guessing the woman was already in there. She saw it from a different perspective, people getting on. I have no idea. The more I think about it, the creepier it is. But, like, this story is so incoherent that it kind of just kills the vibe.
Have we considered ninjas?
Ninjas?
Yeah, just someone who has mastered the art of dynamic disguise, where you do look different to one person as you do to any other person. And when you get on the elevator, you just, like, hop, like, through the panels in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's a fun little ninja prank.
You know what? They don't say where this took place, but if it was in the 1980s, ninjas are definitely a possibility.
It's a Steven Seagal film.
All right. Well, I think that's all I got for this one.
Good.
So if we want to move on to your first story.
I'll give you a choice. Do you want to hear one called Any Thoughts? Or one called, this one's kind of a boring name, but Ghost or Spirit Encounters?
Which one has more comments on them?
Oh, that is a good question. This one has 2. This one has 3. Okay, we'll do the one with 3.
All right. Hold on. I have it right here. Let me pull it up just to follow along. Go ahead.
Yeah. This was posted 3 days ago, as of reading, in r/paranormal encounters by a user named Cindarash. Okay. The title is Any Thoughts? For context, this happened to me when I was 21. I'm 35 now. I was living back with my mom in a 2-story, 3-bedroom house. Brag about it. I had just moved back home from Virginia and was sleeping down in the basement in the old bar room, which had been fully finished. I slept on the bar table. I kind of skimmed through this. I slept on the bar table since I didn't have my own bed to sleep on. One night, I can't say definitely when, I was sound asleep after going to bed at 2:30 that night. 23:30 that night, or 11:30 for fucking everyone else. Suddenly, out of my REM sleep, I was physically lifted 3 feet and thrown 8 feet across the room. I distinctly remember waking up, then being in the air, and finally hitting the floor. Way too far to have propelled myself on my own, with a sharp pain in my elbow and back. Sadly, I must say, I didn't have any further incidents in that house, so that is unfortunately my only experience of that type. I will state, though, that I didn't feel any malicious intent, nor was I afraid. At the time, I was much too tired to care. So I forced myself to go back to sleep for the rest of... I forced myself to go back to sleep for the rest of the night. I moved out about a month later, and since have had nothing even remotely similar happen. There's more to the post, but it's more editorializing on their part.
Okay, so
Right.
I didn't read this story. You sent it, and I opened it just to see if there were any comments, and there were 3 technically. I only see 2, so one of them might have... Oh, no, there's a reply. But the first comment is, that sounds like you had sleep paralysis. Hey, I've never experienced sleep paralysis like that before.
Are you a doctor? I I've never heard of sleep paralysis tossing a person.
If you weren't paralyzed, maybe you could feel like you were floating. The few times I've had it, I didn't feel anything except, trying the sensation of trying to move but being too heavy to move. So even that seems contradictory to the idea of floating, let alone being tossed or thrown. But okay, so the craziest part of this story isn't even that, right? It's just sleeping on the bar table.
Hey, okay. It has to be noted. Don't do that. I slept on a bar table. Like, if it's a fully furnished basement, which means it has a carpet. Just sleep on the floor.
Or, maybe even a couch.
A couch upstairs?
Or anything. I want to know, because they didn't put, they even say in their little editorial that there wasn't a whole lot of detail. Do they have a mattress on it, or like a fort of blankets on top? I can't get over the table thing.
Okay, let's. I don't want to dismiss anything that we say on this show. I don't want to flat out be like, this didn't happen. But like, I don't know. Bar tables are pretty high. If you were to fall off of one when you were sleeping, I don't want to say 8 feet, but that feels like a pretty dramatic fall.
Yeah.
And to say I was physically lifted 3 feet, like, did you have a measuring tape with you? And thrown 8 feet across the room.
Was David Copperfield
That's a pretty big room.
In the room? That could be an explanation. Some kind of street magician snuck into your room to practice their art. I don't know. I think of all the ghost stories I've heard, I've not really heard a whole lot of levitation stories, I guess.
Right.
I mean,
maybe that's how David Blaine does it. He's like always being haunted.
He's just, oh man, that'd be a good TV series. It's just a magician, but all his tricks are just ghosts.
Holy shit, cut this part out and write it down, because we're going to make $1 million on that.
Well, I don't know about that.
That is a great show.
Hollywood is kind of in rambles right now.
Yes, fair.
So yeah, go ahead.
I want to test you on something.
Oh, sure.
Let's say you're asleep, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're asleep, and I'm not saying a ghost, I'm saying me. I come into your place of sleep. I lift you with 3 feet off of where you're laying, and I throw you 8 feet across the room. Now tell me, would you feel malicious intent?
If anything threw me 8 feet across the room, I'm sure it would feel malicious.
That's an angry throw.
This person's saying that they didn't feel scared or anything, but you literally got tossed across a room. If like a bouncer picked you up at a bar and threw you across a room, you would feel at least intimidated, right?
Something. Like even impressed.
Oh man. Let's see. This person who said it might be sleep paralysis also it's a slightly longer comment. Let's see if this is anything.
Okay.
Personally, I've never experienced anything like that. But that's why I suggested it could be a case of sleepwalking. That's not what you said. Because that can cause people to behave in unusual ways, like sleepwalking, sleep driving. Jeez.
Sleep levitating.
Sleep. God, I hope people aren't sleep driving. Even sleep fighting, which could have caused you to throw yourself across the room. But it doesn't explain the feeling of being lifted and thrown across the room. You literally just explained it.
Right.
Especially because you said you weren't afraid or felt any malicious intent. Kind of poking fun at this person a little bit, so I'm not even going to read their username. If you guys want to find this post, go for it.
It's out there. It exists. The internet doesn't forget.
Yeah. But no, he clearly says sleep paralysis in one comment and then goes through and says, I meant sleepwalking.
That's why I was talking about sleepwalking.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, sleep driving is way scarier for the rest of us.
Man, I've only ever almost fell asleep driving once, and that was enough for me to make sure that never happens again. So I can't imagine, because you see videos of people sleepwalking, right?
Yeah.
Who is that? There's like a really popular TikToker that a lot of her posts are just.
Oh, that's so fun! I just followed her.
Yeah,
I don't have my phone.
It's just her security footage of her sleepwalking that her boyfriend pulls for her, and while those videos are funny, could you imagine someone like that driving?
Yeah, operating any heavy machinery?
Oh, man. or fighting
Terrifying.
for that matter.
Oh, wait, I actually do want to go back to that just for a little bit.
Sure.
It says sleepwalking, sleep driving, and sleep fighting, which could have caused you to throw yourself across the room. Was he fighting himself?
Like Patrick
Like
in
if
that
this-
episode of SpongeBob.
No.
Have mercy.
Yeah, like were you sleep fighting and getting your own ass kicked? Because that feels rare to me, but
I've heard of sleep fighting, kind of, but it hand in hand with sleepwalking, right? Like you try to wake a
Right.
person who's sleepwalking, it could go terribly, and you see videos of people like getting aggressive and stuff. But the thought of someone putting on boxing gloves and just going around and picking fights with, actually, you know what? That is an episode of Regular Show. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
you know what, I haven't, which is kind of surprising for me.
So Regular Show, the cartoon from Cartoon Network that is since finished its run, it's a series of odd characters because it's a weird show despite its name. And one of the characters is this guy named Muscle Man, who's just like a fat ghoul looking guy.
Oh, he's like the Yeti.
No. You're thinking of
Oh.
Skips, who's played by Mark Hamill. No, Muscle Man, he's like a green dude. He's like chubby or whatever, but he's buff. He's muscly, as they say. And there's a whole episode where he is asleep, like fighting. Like he'll wake up, not wake up, but in his sleep he'll go into everybody's rooms, and nobody lives in the same house. They all live in separate locations. They would just show up there and start beating them up in their sleep, and they got to figure out why. It's a pretty funny episode. Just a hilarious show. You should definitely watch it, Roger. I know you'd like. I literally I started putting it on as like background noise while I worked on other stuff recently, and I literally sat through the entire show. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I will say, for a character, I had to Google it, but for a character called Muscle Man, this guy's built like me.
Yeah, there's a Halloween episode, or they have several Halloween episodes where they just kind of tell stories, like scary stories. And in one of them, his skin gets ripped off, and he's just, muscle. And he, before he passes out, he's just like, "See, told you guys I was ripped," and then falls over. Yeah, it's
and then passes out of no skin.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Well, all right, is that all we had to say on that story?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay. This one is titled Footsteps. It's a little creepier than the last two, I guess, but it's kind of non-eventy. There's only one comment on it with a similar story, so I'll just read both of them. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, here's the thing. This is a show about the paranormal. We want to make it funny, but the truth is, it's going to get kind of scary. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Just every once in a while, yeah. I haven't reread this story since I found it, so who knows if it's scary or not. But
oh no.
Here we go. From 5 years ago, also on the subreddit Ghosts Are Real, by the user fuck, I forgot. I forgot the username. The username is Beating My Children. Don't worry. I looked into the person's profile and they don't seem entirely problematic. A few of their other posts are they have a post on the Canva subreddit asking for help, one on K-pop help titled "How Do I Go About Trading CDs?" One in the Mandela Effect account, the Lovely Bones Mandela Effect. This story I'm about to read, and then another one in Scary Stories called "I Feel Like I'm Going Crazy." So not as problematic as the username suggests, at least not on the internet anyways.
What do they post on the Mandela Effect? My kids keep remembering that I beat them, and I don't remember that. Okay, so you go ahead. You tell this story.
Okay, the story by Beating My Children, Footsteps. When I was younger, I lived in the older house, and there wasn't doors on the bedrooms, so you could see in and everything. My room has a lot of things on the floor because I was a messy child. Anyway, when I was living there, I went to go to take a nap. As I was falling asleep, I heard these heavy footsteps. It sounded like someone with either very heavy footsteps or someone with work boots on. The footsteps seemed to have came out of nowhere and walked right next to my bed as I was trying to nap. I got scared and didn't open my eyes to look and fell asleep. When I woke up from my nap, I asked my dad if he went into my room while I was trying to sleep. He said no. I asked my dad because he has heavy work boots. I then asked my mom and sister, and they said no too. I believe it was a ghost or something because it just walked next to me and then didn't even move. So that's their story. Work boot footsteps kind of reminded me of when we lived together because you would almost instantaneously put on your boots in the morning and then walk through the house.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, who's that? So the one comment on here says, when I was 10, my parents bought a shell of a house just outside of Perth, Scotland, that the previous owners had been lost in a fire in. There had been a party and some furniture had caught light after they'd gone to bed, and that was them. That still doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but hey.
You got to read it with a Scottish accent.
I'm not even going to attempt that. My parents spent a lot of money rebuilding it, and it was a bloody nice house when finished. As an adult, many decades later, I've gotten into mediumship development and realized that I've probably had a few experiences that actually were genuine, rather than simple childish and adolescent imagination. And I'm pretty much 100% that the softish footsteps that I used to hear in my bedroom in that house infrequently that start at the closed door beside the head of the bed appeared to travel around the bottom of the bed and up the other side of the head of the bed, then back out the door on the other side again, leaving me so paralyzed with fear that I couldn't even move to safely hide under the covers, were completely genuine, and most likely the previous owners stretching their astral legs. So I relate, man. That's how they finished their little comment.
So feels.
That was by the user Fix Levy, which I think is more unsettling than the original post. Is the fact that it's a recurring phenomenon for them. I'll say ghost stories do creep me out. They unsettle me a little bit, but that's what they're supposed to do, right? They're ghost stories. So you imagine stuff like this and you're like, ugh, it gives you chills and stuff. What could it be? Is there an explanation? The skeptic in me, as much as I don't believe in ghosts, it's hard to kind of explain a lot of this stuff. Some of it could just be old house. Hey, your parents remodeled. Maybe they cheaped out on some aspects and the floors creak now. You know how often I've moved into like a brand new building and the stairs creaked still when you hit it at a certain angle. It's pretty common, but I'm not going to discredit anybody's experience. Footsteps, though, in the middle of the night would surely freak me out.
Yeah, there is something to be said about the severity of the footstep. Like, heavy footsteps is scary on like kind of a visceral tone where there's kind of an aggression to it. However, if you hear soft footsteps, someone's creeping around.
Yeah.
They've got something to hide.
Yeah. And especially if it's...
I like that less.
If it's like moving around you too. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't even like when I wake up before other people, or if I wake up in the middle of the night and have to use the bathroom, like creeping around. I'm like, I don't want to wake this person up and freak them out.
Yeah.
Or even like I live on the top floor of my apartment, and I don't know if my downstairs neighbors can hear me, but I try to be considerate. Although sometimes when I'm tiptoeing to like make sure I'm not just stomping over them, sometimes I feel like that might be more audible than just like straight walking. We have a pretty big cat too, and he gallops around the apartment, and his footsteps can be pretty heavy too. So I always wonder if they hear that. Maybe we're the ghosts haunting our downstairs neighbors.
Every one of your neighbors is a ghost. You heard it here first.
Especially if you live like under somebody. I mean, do you ever see those people? I don't think I've ever seen any of my upstairs neighbors when I've lived on lower floors.
I was going to say, well, you live on the top floor, so if you hear people above you, that's ghosts.
That actually did happen the other day. I was like brushing my teeth and I heard footsteps on my roof. I'm positive they were just doing work on the roof because it was like the middle of the day. But
yeah. Were the ghosts dressed as construction workers?
Well, they were. If they were ghosts, they were definitely wearing work boots. So I relate, man. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But I mean, that's all I have to say on that, really. If you hear footsteps in the middle of the night, fuck, man, I don't know what to do for you. Just hide under the covers and wait for it to go away.
There's something else about these stories that seems to happen a lot, and that is something creepy is happening, right?
Yeah.
Like, admittedly creepy. And then the storyteller can just go to sleep.
Yeah. They're like, oh, man, this is... I'm out. I'm just...
Like, I hear footsteps near my bed. Not like in my room, not like down the hall, near my bed. And I think, that's pretty creepy. Time to sleep.
Not only near your bed, but walking up to you. Like, walking straight up to you, and you just fall asleep. I mean, surely that just has to be something in your imagination, right? Because if that happened to me, the urge to fall asleep would completely go away. And
It's gone! I'm no longer tired.
Yeah, and I'd have to see what is making the noise, right? So yeah, I think this is like the second story I've read where something creepy happened and they just fell asleep.
Right. And it does kind of feel narratively like falling asleep to wake up and then something happened is like a vehicle to kind of move the story along.
Yeah.
Right? But in real life, there's a machete near my bed and I have been waiting for an excuse. I'm not going to go to sleep. No, shing! That's me. That's what I'm doing.
Are you going to machete those ghosts, huh?
Listen, if I could get the machete blessed by a priest, I think I'll get the job done.
Just get yourself ordained online and you can do it yourself. I don't know if it's the same blessing as the priesthood, but I mean, hey, something's got to happen.
If someone knows, I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, if you've self-ordained to fight ghosts and specters, and
no, go the other direction. If you're a priest listening to this, please let us know. Please let us know if the online ordainship is worth it.
Yeah. All right. What's your next story?
Okay. My next story is from 6 months ago, as of reading on r/ghosts are real by a user named top_scientist3981. For a scientist, this story is gonna kind of get a little supernatural, so just kind of have that ready for you.
Okay.
I think there was a ghost in my apartment, and I'm not sure what to do. When I was younger, I used Ouija board, and ever since I've had weird experiences like seeing the trampoline bounce with no one on it or food going missing. Lately, I've been hearing a man's voice clear as day, gasping for breath. It is almost always in my doorway when no one else is around. It sounds like a deep older man's voice. I've heard it in my last apartment, and it has followed me to my new place. I've also noticed weird things happening around my house. For example, one day I bought a plastic container of pre-cut apples. I ate half of the apples and put them back. When I went back the next day for more of the apples, oh my god, I don't know how they wanted this to be read. When I went back the next day for more apples, they were full and sealed.
So there should be a comma after more. So when I went back the next day for more, the apples were full and sealed. Yeah.
I see. Okay. An English teacher would have spotted that right away. I'm not necessarily scared of the ghost/spirit, but I would like to know who it is, or if they need something from me. Probably more apples. Any suggestions? I'm happy to answer more questions if you have any. Thanks in advance.
Probably less apples since they're putting them back.
Oh, that's true.
They're reaching into this person's gut and
can I say, this is the weirdest math question I've ever heard.
So...
One day, I bought a plastic container of pre-cut apples. I ate half the apples and put them back.
If the next day it's full again, how many apples did I eat? I think you're
How many apples did the ghost apparition
I want to know where this person lives. Are they in a high altitude location? Because this happens to me whenever we record any kind of audio and I go back and listen to it. I have to cut out my like hyperventilating between each little thing because we're so high up here in Colorado that I'm constantly trying to catch my breath. If I keep talking for too long, I literally just run out of breath. I remember one time I was talking on the phone, probably one of the few times I called home, and I was talking to my mom, and by the time the phone call ended, it was a fairly short phone call. By the time it ended, I was completely out of breath, and and I'd gone on a walk to have this phone conversation, which made it even worse. So like, I literally just told her, I was like, hey, I need to go catch my breath, so I'll talk to you later. But this could be the answer to this person's story, right? They moved to Denver, let's say, and the wheezing they've been hearing is just them. Anytime they stop moving,
and they're not used to it.
Yeah, it's just. And
who was that?
who's there? And then the lack of oxygen affects your brain. So maybe they thought they ate the apples, but they really didn't. Or maybe they just bought 2 containers of apples and forgot. Let's see what any of these comments say. There's only 2 comments, right?
Yeah.
And the first one says, possible to upload any sources of footage or audio. So a lot of times going through these stories, like trying to find them, I noticed that there's not a whole lot of comments. And a lot of the comments are like post-proof. Not like, hey, I want you to prove this to me. It's just like, hey, I believe you. Post something so that we can try to figure this out together. It's odd to me. I'm just going to take your story at face value, but I'm also going to think like, hey man, maybe you have asthma or something and should go to a doctor and figure out your breathing problems. Let's see, the next one says, I believe ghosts are demons and angels. Wow, I didn't expect that. But yours sounds like a demon. The spirit goes to the afterlife when it dies. You need to start praying. Okay, well, it's the only way to get rid of it. Right. Okay, so
now let's kind of run with this theory that all ghosts, every single one, are angels and or demons, and that this one is a demon. This demon has upper respiratory issues and provides apples.
Hey, that sounds... I mean, besides having to listen to an old man try
mildly
to catch his
annoying,
breath,
but like...
Yeah, I would love to never have to buy fruit again. And if it just keeps replenishing itself... As long as you never finish
the apples, you'll always get more.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a plus to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe they have a demon and an angel. And
give me a portmanteau of demons and angels.
No, I got nothing.
Damn Jules. Okay.
That doesn't work though.
Wait, dangles.
Demgoals.
Demigoldens.
Anmum? I don't know.
Amnums just sounds like a demon's name.
Yeah. Which, hey, if you know their name, you have control over them.
You got the power.
That's how it works.
So you were saying how like the comments are always just like, prove it, or what have you.
Yeah.
I just happen to be looking at r/ghosts are real. And the first rule of that subreddit is no skeptics, but treat everything as fiction. So to demand proof is breaking the rules.
Yeah, it literally says Ghosts Are Real is a place to put your scary ghost stories, tales of the macabre, conspiracies, monsters, cryptids, and so on. Hey, you specified ghosts. Are you into paranormal research? Tell us what you found. Note, everything here should be taken as fiction. Please see the rules for further details. It's odd. There's only 2,000 members, which puts them in the top 14 percentile, ranked by size.
Kind of surprising that it's so low.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Some of these other resources just off of Reddit that we use, I'm not sure how much bigger they are, But it's the same issue I find with them, that there's never a whole lot of comments. Like I try to find discussion and whatnot to kind of help push what we're going to talk about, and I can never find it. There's some, like this one right here, one of the first ones I come across on the subreddit Paranormal Encounters, which has 348,000 members.
Wow.
One of the first stories that pops up is, spirit in the house seems to be growing in power, and I'm starting to become concerned. That was posted 21 hours ago. It has 48 comments.
Great engagement.
Let's see how long this is. Sometimes if it's too long, I'll kind of skip it. This person has decent formatting on everything. It would probably be easier to read.
Can I say, I love this formatting.
Yeah.
This is way easier for my brain to keep up with. For people listening, every sentence, or maybe even two sentences, is like broken up as its own little paragraph, and it's not a solid block of text.
I won't read this one. Maybe we'll save it for another ghost-themed episode.
Yeah.
Ghost, the phenomenon, not the band. I'm sure there's ghost podcasts out there. But yeah, so for now, we'll wrap up on this one. Footsteps, glowing men walking into elevators. I don't remember what yours were about, Roger.
Well, there is a surprise segment I wanted to put on you here.
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I went to Reddit, of course, and I went to the subreddit Ask Reddit. Now, in Ask Reddit, I typed in the word ghosts, right? I wanted to pull up some questions asking about ghosts. Most of them were about, like, ghosting, the action, like the verb, right? But I found 3 of them here that I'm going to ask you, like it was an interview.
Sure.
I'm gonna post them in our Discord, in the general chat. Okay. And this is the first time you're seeing these, just to kind of make that clear.
Yes.
Go ahead and read that first question for me and answer it, please.
Before I read this question, I want to say a podcast on ghosting, the act, would also be probably lucrative.
Yes.
Right. So
I think that would sell.
First question here. Why does everyone see... Oh, I've seen this Ask Reddit before. Why does everyone see human ghosts and never dinosaur ghosts? It's because dinosaurs aren't real, Roger. They were put in the ground by the Catholic Church to test our faith.
They were buried by the devil.
Okay.
Oh my God. So that question really got me earlier. I was in my room alone and I read it. It should be said, I read very slowly. I can't read in my head. I have to read out loud, or otherwise I don't retain anything.
Sure.
So when I read this, I read it word by word, and I was so surprised by the word dinosaur, because I was thinking animals, right?
Yeah, sure.
I wasn't expecting dinosaurs at all.
I will say animal ghosts, they make an appearance every once in a while. It's usually cats.
Sure.
Maybe that's because all dogs go to heaven. I'm not much of a dog person, so I would much rather see a ghost cat. Because can you imagine a ghost dog just barking all night? Scuffing along the floor,
dogs.
like, oh man, no thanks.
I feel like most of the issues you'd face with a ghost dog, like you said, the barking, but also tripping over them, or
worse, you go downstairs or something and there's just a ghost turd sitting in the middle of your living room. I was literally
going to say shitting everywhere.
Yeah.
Because you're not letting them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, second question. Here we go. Posted it now.
If you were a spooky ghost, who would you haunt first? Man. Who would I haunt?
You don't have to name names.
Yeah, I just honestly, I don't think I think of people that often. You'd want to haunt someone that you don't like, right? But on the other side of that, a lot of people, they'll say that, right? If I die, I'm going to haunt this person and scare them, essentially. But if you think about it, most people who believe in ghosts kind of like the idea that some loved one is just trying to reconnect with them. So,
okay.
I imagine a lot of answers would be that. Man, once I'm done with this life, just please don't put me back.
Here we'll make a deal. If you become a spooky ghost, haunt me in such a specific way that I know it's you, and I'll have you exorcised.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I'll have you banished.
I'll have to think of what attributes I have that would make it obvious.
You know what? This does assume that you're going to die before me, which historically I don't see that happening. My physical health is not great.
I mean, I can't say mine's as much better, but I've been doing a lot of damage physically to my body over the last couple of years, so who knows? Right.
Last question. This one I realize the mythos behind it kind of gets broken because of one of the stories we told today, but I'm posting it now.
Why do you never hear about haunted apartments? I don't think that's fair. I think if anything, yeah, you hear a lot about haunted houses, and that's probably because,
alliteration.
Yeah, most of the time, people who claim to be haunted, it's in like a secluded area or whatnot, so you wouldn't think apartment. But there are so many movies about haunted apartments and stuff. Hell, one of the most recent Evil Dead movie was in an apartment complex.
Was it really?
Yeah. So I don't believe this question. There's only 9 comments on it, which is far less than the other 2. So I'm guessing.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
A lot of people don't agree. There's also only 3 upvotes. So.
Well, like haunted houses are a little bit more in depth, right? You have a lot of rooms to visit. There are possibly multiple stories. Apartments, a lot of creepy things that happen in apartments can be written off as I have a loud neighbor or someone in the building flushed a toilet.
Okay.
Hauntings kind of go by the wayside.
So you said that. Can you imagine when you lived off of Elizabeth in that apartment where you had the 2 neighbors? The one,
oh my God,
directly
Carriage Square Apartments in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
I had 2 neighbors. Well, all of my neighbors were terrible.
So you had the guy next to you who would play his TV all night, and then the other one with the
with the fucking birds.
With the birds. One of whom whistled all night. It was creepy. It was like having. It wasn't like a like Kill Bill whistling. I'm not going to try to whistle into a microphone, but like a drop whistle. Like you would hear it and you would instantly be like, is there a fucking clown outside? And you look. And no, it was just the birds downstairs who, when they weren't whistling, would squawk all morning. Luckily, they didn't do it at night because I think they slept. But like, can you imagine if those were just ghosts?
If I had complained to my apartment manager at the time, whose name was Fawn, by the way, if I had said like, hey, my neighbor across the brick wall keeps listening to Man of Steel at max volume. Could you do something about that? And also, the one with 13 plus birds, that's an issue. And she'd be like, what? Those birds haven't lived there in 20 years.
I would have taken that response over the nothing that they did. But then we got complained on for laughing too much.
I remember I went to go pay rent. I had an envelope in my hand, and she was like, hey, sit down for a second. I was like, hey, what's up? And she's like, so we have to talk about Sundays. And I was like, no, we fucking don't. Because Sundays, we would have game nights at my apartment. And I was going to say I have loud friends. I had one very loud friend, and it was an issue.
Yeah.
Apparently the bird guy snitched on me. Anyway.
Dude, the first night after we moved you in there, I slept on the floor and I woke up to squawking because my ear was on the floor. I could hear them clear as day. There's literally 13 birds down there. Oh,
it's
man.
Crazy.
All right. Well, does that do it for this episode?
I do think that is it for this ghost-themed episode. If any of you listening have supernatural stories of your own, you can submit them to us for this show at any of our socials at PairODudes. That is PAIR_O_DUDES.
Yeah, and we've been a pair of normal dudes, ever in need of stories to intrigue, perplex, maybe even frighten. So remember, if you can't explain it, post about it. And until next time, stay tuned and stay haunted.